or
But
anything like that.
here in the UK, so with and this is a similar kind of situation. Billionaire owners of it's a sports team, right? They've been like banners, like literally flying around these stadiums where these billionaires are calling them out. Similar to example saying, for example, Shitterdale, if that thing but the planes around the UK have done that. Literally, have just flown around a stadium with these CEOs, businessmen inside the stadium, and the banners on the plane are saying, calling these billionaires out. So it is possible to do that. And it.
Hey. Wait, in which channel? On any of them? You're good.
Yeah, everyone's free to type.
What's up, Pete?
Hi guys. I was just wondering if you saw about the 26 million volume. They've recently dropped it to 15 on different apps.
Wait. Yeah. Which channel? And then they started changing it back to 27.
I don't suppose there's like a public record of volumes kept online. I mean, obviously there's time space, but obviously with the recent huge volume, like if you know what I mean, like there's not really any data that I can see.
And it's still strange because still some brokers are saying 27 and still saying 15. It's like each of them are changing back and forth. It's difficult to kind of keep track of which ones are keeping it at. So let's say one might keep it at 15 and it hasn't changed, or one might keep it at 27 and hasn't changed. But then are they going back and forth? Like it's just weird how some are
I don't think they're going back and forth. I think they went from 27 down to 15, and then some have now changed it back from 15 to 27.
Right, yeah.
But what's this going to obviously this is representing that they can literally do anything. The volume, obviously, I mean,
correct.
I don't really know how that's going to affect it, because obviously the volume's already happened. Obviously the numbers might look different, but it's just a weird thing. Like, it's not like the volume was half of what it should be, unless there's actually 40 million. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is it? Didn't Gary Gensler come out and he like? I think.
Sorry, you cut out there, mate. What did you say?
I said I saw someone post an article.
Is that just me or?
I can hear him. Can you hear him?
Hi.
Hi, Kong.
I can only stay on for like 10 minutes. I have a meeting coming up at 5 p.m. because my studio hates me.
Oh, I was going to say, what, a meeting with a video game?
Yeah, right.
Lucky. Just kidding. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to see.
Okay.
So crazy to see all these apes and like an open podcast where anyone can pretty much just talk.
Yeah, I love this. This is amazing.
They're involved.
I'm glad that there's actually like some sort of restriction, because I'm sure we all want to say something at once.
Oh yeah, as soon as Kong shows up, everyone would be fangirling like crazy. You know it.
Oh, stop.
Kong,
it's true. Look at all the 100%. They're all throwing them up. Throw up 100% if you're fangirling over Kong and his big guns right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy, literally.
What is your workout routine? Because Jesus Christ.
See? There they are.
Would you believe me if I told you I'm vegan as well?
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, how can you have chicken tendies being vegan? Unless you have chicken vegan chicken tendies.
Tofu tendies.
Tofu tendies. I love it. That's awesome.
So what's funny right now with AMC is, if this volume thing is real, then roughly 40-45% of our volume today was short volume. I don't know if this means that our volume has been padded for the last few months to basically mask a higher short volume. But if that is the case, then we've been really fighting through a thick artificial resistance, and this would just prove it. But it could just
this stuff happening.
Well, the weird thing is that the one before, I can't remember the name, but that woman that took his place and was only there for 7 days, I find that really weird. I think that she really did have some sort of mentality as to how really that the SEC has just let this go on for so long, and that if it goes in her name, that's it. Your career's pretty much done, really.
Did you all get a chance to look at the video that I made?
Oh yes.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Oh mate, it's
Hey,
so.
Tara, you could take me off.
Are you talking about the halt in
Okay,
the
Pete.
entire market?
Yeah, the entire market halt, and the fact that all those different stocks that are pretty much like top positions
Yeah.
of the hedge funds are at like zero for some reason for the price change.
So usually, whenever all stocks in a certain ETF are halted, it's because you see a percentage drop of, I think, 5 or 7% or greater. Of course, that would be the SPY or the NASDAQ, but I didn't see those drops. So I'm still doing some research on that to figure out why all those...
I was looking into it, and I'm pretty sure like a bunch of them are in the Vanguard Value ETF.
So...
Or there's a couple different Vanguard ETFs that they're in.
Somebody did DM me and tell me that Vanguard dropped to 0, and they think it was a glitch. But I don't know. It's just way too many glitches happening.
Too many coincidences. You got to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So I'm doing some research on that.
I heard AT&T had a huge outage, though. Could that have any effect, or do you think that could be causing any of this?
Are you talking about service outage?
I don't know. I'm not even sure.
I actually own a AT&T store, so I got a few calls today. I was off, but I got a few calls today regarding those outages, but I don't think that would have anything to do with the exchange.
Yeah,
honestly.
Interesting.
I think that's a huge
you work
company.
there, so you would know.
Good evening, fellow apes.
Hello, Fernando.
Hey.
Good evening.
Hello. Hey, I've been thinking like something makes me feel like eventually people are gonna start buying tickets with Dogecoin, like movie tickets.
Movie tickets, yeah, could.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that will make everything spike.
It'd be huge.
I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't go that route. I mean, it's just everybody look at Mark Cuban, and he's incorporated into the Mavericks, and eventually everybody's gonna start following suit. Once everybody start catching the idea, it's just gonna be a matter. And I feel like eventually when Dogecoin hits the dollar, I mean, things are gonna get real quick.
I don't think Doge will stay too long at $1. Only because I'm not trying to spread any fun or anything, but I think there's such a hype around that $1 mark.
A lot of whales sell at $1.
Yeah, there's definitely
It makes
people
me nervous for sure. Yeah.
It's just when you reach new highs, really. It's like GME when it reached 420.
We squeeze before they make $1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's crazy.
I hope it does happen, though. I mean, I know a lot of people holding Doge, so I hope it does.
I hold a little bit.
I want it to happen so people can earn some money. It's just like everyone wants to win, really. I know it's not everyone's going to win. But if you know what I mean, a bit of money is better than none.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But the weird thing with Doge is that, like, the fact that, like, it was created, we all know it was created as a bit of fun and nothing serious, and now all these, like other companies and stuff like that are, like, kind of looking at it and going, oh yeah, we'll accept Doge. And then it, like, the thing with Doge, when that goes up to, like, what was it going at, like 0.5, 0.6, you know, so 50 cents, 60 cents, all these media outlets going, look how great Doge is, look how great this is. And then when you've got legit stocks such as AMC and GME, it's all like, yeah, now get out of that. So the whole thing with Doge is, like, I agree now, it seems like it's a bit of a distraction to kind of get people straight in on Doge.
Well, yeah, I
not for-
mean, when the first news article on Webull under AMC is in regard to
Yep.
Doge, it's pretty shady. I mean, it's
I
definitely
think
being
I think
pumped.
I think the backbone of Doge, like I said earlier in the last chat you had, is actually probably held by Vanguard and huger entities. That's why I'm worried about Doge. Like I own Doge myself, and I made a couple $100 off just watching it day to day. But at the same time, I think one of the big messages that people are trying to send, like the Buffetts specifically, is trying to get the retail investor discouraged from ever profiting like we're about to profit again. I think there's a good chance the bottom's going to fall out of Doge. I think the backbone of Doge is pumping to pay for the short phenomenon. I think that they're going to send a message. They're going to send a message to a lot of retail investors that this isn't as easy money as they thought it was when they totally liquidate the entirety of Doge and people see the gains they could have had when they were long on it, and they're going to drop it down to a number. People are going to watch themselves, even though they never materially had that money, they're going to watch their gains get dropped down so low that it's going to discourage a lot of the retail investors that got into the market for something like Doge, as popular as it is. It's going to rock their worlds when they lose the money that's expected to be made. I think they're going to dump it after Elon Musk pumps it as much as he can, and that money's going to come to us, guys. I mean, it's going to come to the short phenomenon, and I think after that, like Optimus said earlier, I think you're going to see a big campaign in the United States about how Doge and they're going to hurt and drag down the American dollar. You're going to see a huge FUD campaign on all cryptos. I mean, I think they might not win. I mean, it might not be a winning battle, but it's going to be a battle for sure.
I can see it.
Something say like they wanted to tax like 80% of like crypto.
Yeah, I mean that.
I saw somewhere that they're thinking of like taxing crypto gains of like 8. So when you withdraw crypto, you'll be taxed 80%. Something ridiculous.
80%. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's insane.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it's it's just what I've read somewhere.
Yeah, James. I mean, in the UK. I mean, I'm guessing you're from the UK.
I'm listening to your argument about Doge, but you're not just in the US. Sorry, I don't speak so good English. We are many people in the world putting money inside, so I don't think it's so dangerous.
Yeah, you have to look at people with millions of pounds.
Hey, I've got to drop. I'll see about joining as soon as I get out of this meeting. That's at 5 p.m.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll be back.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, James.
So anybody got any thoughts on Gary Gensler speaking tomorrow? The new head of the SEC, because I've been hearing that he's gonna do some breaking down on the regulations and everything, because the whole gamification and everything that they're trying to do with like Citadel, for instance, like the order flow, how they're paying Robinhood millions and millions of dollars on order flow. So basically they can see our hands, but that's all they can see. They're gonna see what? Inflows, money going into AMC, money going into GameStop, money going into all their stocks that they're shorting. I mean, if I am Citadel, if I'm like Ken Griffin and I'm looking at all this, I should be covering. But the thing is that he doesn't even have the money to cover. So he's going to have to sell his portfolio. He's going to have to sell everything.
The thing is with Ken Griffin, he's like a billionaire. He doesn't really use his own money. It's always when you're that high, it's just other people's money, and you get to the point where you've doubled so much that you're literally just pissing with other people's money.
Well, that's why you see the market the way it is.
It makes no sense. Absolutely.
video of him back a few years ago when he said all they were trying to do was just survive. That's literally all they were trying to do.
That's literally it. You are right. I saw that video. I can't find it now, but yeah, it's really crazy that he said he's spending hundreds of millions a day.
Exactly, they'll do this just to survive. And I mean, if you're one of these guys and you're going to lose billions, yeah, you're going to do everything you can to, one, not lose as much, and two, get as many of us, or try and scare as many of us as possible, so that there's a lesser amount of us that are going to make these huge gains, which is all this stuff that they're manipulating now.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw a clip on Jim Cramer. He was bad-mouthing Redditors again, saying, "Oh, you're going Wall Street bets, and all you're gonna see there is GameStop. All you're gonna see there is AMC, like the same stuff where it's for the same reason that everybody's talking about them. The only reason we're talking about this because retail is in basically giving it all the support that it needs when needed. And, when the institutions, like you got Vanguard, you got Goldman Sachs going long on that, I mean, how could you stand there and say, oh, this is stupid. All these people are, ridiculous. They're just buy one stock and that's it. Well, I mean, think about it.
It's because they
don't get it.
They're trying to throw the people off by doing it, by calling us stupid and saying it's ridiculous. It's in their hope that it will throw other people off.
Right, smoke and mirrors.
I'm still trying to figure this out.
Well, this is really weird. I mean, I did actually think there would be a point, and this is just obviously my own opinion. Obviously, I did think there would be another stock that people would pump. Currently, I'm seeing MVIS and COS. I mean, I don't know if they're really stocks to be pumped or not, but it's really weird because I wonder what would happen if we all just, I mean, obviously not move, but obviously if we just pumped another one, would we see the same reaction? It just seems at the minute AMC and GME is so manipulated, they're sowing graph wise, just constantly in the red. I mean, the only other way I can see them really winning at this, and this is my own opinion again, is if they crash the market. I mean, look at yesterday. I mean, it was down about 3% on the Nasdaq. I mean, that's the only really way I can see it going. If everyone loses, obviously, that's my own opinion. I don't want to spread FUD. I'm not that type of guy. But I mean, if anyone's got any other opinion on what they could possibly do, I'd like to listen to it.
Does anybody here know how many shares outstanding does COS have, by any chance?
I mean, I can look it up real quick.
I appreciate that, bro.
The thing is, with the market yesterday, everything was pretty much in the red. From what I saw, I mean, obviously there was a couple of stocks, but then the main ones that I saw that were in the green were Doge and Ethereum.
It's really weird. It's really weird. It's
today.
Yep, Ethereum doing a madness.
I mean, they'll try to liquidate what they can, but I really don't think they have the ammo to tank the whole entire market.
There's all those,
isn't there? I mean, I'm just thinking of the crash points, really. Really. I mean, it's just like the mortgage in 2008. Obviously, when they thought mortgages were always going to carry on. It just kept building up, and obviously to the point where it just crashed. And obviously, I think if this does squeeze, every other stock will be affected. There's no way that this can go to 1,000. And I mean, I don't know. It's only 2 stocks, and it's not like the whole market, is it?
Oh, it'll think quick, no doubt.
I think any. Excuse me.
Sorry, 1 minute, Mike.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. Smith, can you just say it again a bit louder? Sorry, I couldn't hear you right now.
Okay. I think any stocks that's heavily shorted, I think it's going to affect the market. I think they are going to follow. Like the BB, the NOK, the cloves. Those are heavily shorted.
I've heard this as well. Nokia, I think, too. Yeah, I've heard that same thing.
The only thing is,
Yep.
and I mean, I've seen people on Facebook, and I could be wrong. There are, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, there are real retail investors that are short in AMC. It's, you know, I mean, I heard one guy say that obviously, you know, hedge funds have billions. You know, I mean, I'm going with the guys that are rich now because obviously, you know, some people listen to all the rich people. I mean, look at Elon Musk. I mean, he seems to be very wealthy, and everyone seems to follow him and, you know, try and gain his wealth, I guess.
I got you an upbid on cost.
So it's really
Yeah,
weird.
sure.
Hey guys, I don't know how
Has
to.
anyone upload this? Copy that.
Whoever was asking about cost is 8.52 mil shares outstanding.
That's
Did I hear 8.5? 8.5 million?
8.5. Yeah.
That's what Yahoo Finance is saying.
Oh, I can't trust those guys. They kicked me out.
I've got to be honest at the minute. No,
Just know it's a cluster.
Yeah, they
I got
canceled my account or whatever reason.
Let's look at something else then.
I mean, gotta be honest.
It's pretty close to the same. Ycharts.com 8.395 mil, so 8.3, and then 8.5. They're pretty close.
Sorry, Michael, your mic cut out there, mate. I don't know if that was just me or.
I wish this thing had like a little raise your hand to speak. You know, I guess this is a new part of Twitter, but I don't want to interrupt you guys. I know I don't know.
I think you can raise your hand, by the way, if you.
Oh, for real?
I don't know what. Yeah, you can like the emojis and stuff.
Right here.
Look at that. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Let me see how I do this.
So currently I have 5 people waiting to have a chance to speak. So I don't know if you guys can rotate yourselves to listener, and then I can approve requests to speak as soon as you're done speaking. Just so if people have questions or points that they're trying to make, we can get them
I'll say
on here
something
too.
really, really quick. I've been following some of y'all, at least, you know, the speakers and everything, and I'm not an avid follower of Wall Street Bets, but I'm an avid follower of if I can make money, then I'm gonna do it. I'm in the Atlas Discord, and I'm homies with a lot of them. And I was gonna say that the shorts section or channel of Atlas used to be hot on AMC. And now AMC has not been talked about in so long. So I don't think that they're nearly as confident as what they used to be. But one thing that worries me
How many people are in the server? I'm just curious.
In Atlas, it's over. Well, I don't know about that specific channel, but it's over probably 350,000.
Okay.
It's do you follow Zach Morris or PJ Matlock, Gripster on Twitter?
I did.
They're all like very prestigious traders, and Zach actually was somebody that helped out a lot on the first AMC rip, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have some type of big volumes. Well, yeah, he called it very, very early. It was when it was like 1.2. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of volume spike at some point, which I thought the other day whenever there was, what was it? It was at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time where it went 2.7 million. I thought that was going to be the moment, but now that it's getting earnings and stuff like that, the only thing I'm worried about is if we don't get that type of one massive candle, what could happen. Just because I know how fucked up, that people that run this kind of shit are, that they'll just try and figure out a way to, I mean, it could be something that none of us have even thought of, and just to screw us all.
Can you send me the link to that Discord so I can go over and talk about AMC?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, it's super friendly group, and I mean, I started 6 months ago, and they have given me so much information to where this is my full time. So
hopefully I'm not banned. I don't think I'm banned from that one yet, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, just read the rules. It's all good.
I don't follow rules. That's the problem. I'm just kidding.
I just want to quickly say this. Thanks for everyone, tuning in. Obviously, want to give someone else the chance to give get their questions across.
Yes, for sure. I'm done.
So, I'm going to leave now and switch to listener. And thanks all. Thanks to Tara for hosting this, because obviously we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And everyone else really talking. Right,
yeah, it's amazing. Thanks for being here.
Before you head out, I just wanted to cover one thing. So that video that I posted, one of the stocks actually just switched from the zeros. It was, which one was it? The hell did it go? No, that one wasn't on my list. I'm mainly covering the ones that ON, the ones that hedge funds are invested in, right? ON changed from 0 to plus 0.3, so it was like 30 cents plus. So it changed. That's my point.
No, yeah, so yeah, I understand. That's fine. I know what you mean. But yeah, I don't want to, keep carrying on. I do want to give someone a chance, so I'm just going to turn to listener now. But yeah, thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks, Daniel. Hey. I can't give you any images because I don't want to get your YouTube channel shut down. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's a great idea. Anyone in the Discord? Yeah, I think that's awesome. Thank you so much for working on that. I really appreciate it. It's crazy how amazing this community of people is and how smart everyone is. And to be able to come together. I mean, to mention AT&T in this call with 10 speakers, and then one of the people says, "Yeah, I work for AT&T." It's just crazy how the connection is so immediate. I love this. Let me add more speakers. There we go. Added there. But thank you for streaming it on YouTube. Yeah, I'm going to have to, I've thought about doing YouTube, starting something there, but it's just so difficult to manage all of it. I mean, between the Discord and then Twitter, that in itself is a lot.
I want to.
Yeah, well, so someone was just DMing me, I think yesterday, and he was talking about trying to get his dad interviewed by someone, on YouTube, because I guess his dad was in an accidental squeeze situation. I guess he worked for this company and had shares, and all of a sudden the stock went from I think he said $16 or $17 to $600 overnight. And so his dad retired like the next day. And it was completely unexpected, accidental, and his dad still, I guess, doesn't even really understand how or what happened, but he wants to have him interviewed just to remind people that this does happen. It's not something that's far-fetched or crazy. His dad experienced it firsthand. He even gave me the name of the stock. Let me go see if I can find his DM.
Well, I was thinking on those lines. I was thinking, imagine all those AMC staff that may be sitting on some shares.
Can we have
do you
that
imagine
access tomorrow?
they get free shares?
Yeah, I think it would be really neat. Is your YouTube channel, is that like, are you, what is it? Are you AMC? I still haven't checked out your channel. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
cool. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. So, I think that's great. I think interviews are awesome. It seems like every YouTuber kind of has like their niche, and I think AMC is definitely helping people grow exponentially on YouTube right now. So starting any kind of channel based on AMC, that's why I find it hard to believe that in that Discord server, they're not talking about AMC and the squeeze, because there are so many people talking about AMC. I mean, it's insane. It's not, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon at least until the squeeze happens. But even after that, it's going to be talked about. So I think if you can gain, I think he called it Atlas, or hopefully he said he's going to send me the link. So I'm going to go in there and talk about AMC and see what happens. If I get banned, then we'll know why no one talks about AMC.
So has anyone has a thought on what's the earnings going to be like tomorrow?
I think it's going to be pretty good.
I think it's going to be good.
I think so too.
When
I think it's going to be all right.
first weekend they opened, they made a lot of money, and that was with only 25% capacity.
I cannot wait. We're having a party right here tomorrow for earnings. I'm going to be on a call. I cannot wait.
I mean, the fact that it's been brought forward, that tells you what we really need to know. I can't imagine he's bringing that forward for no reason.
A month early, right? Is
Yeah,
that
but
right?
Right.
Is it pre-market or after hours? I think
After.
I just think this thing.
I believe.
I think it was it 4 o'clock Eastern? Oh my God, I just inhaled my
Eastern, yes.
water.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is like 9 p.m. UK time, I believe. Is it 9 p.m.? Yes.
Yeah, it's normally about 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Man, I wonder if we can get the CEO Adam Aaron in this chat room.
I just think now.
Isn't 4 Eastern? Oh yeah, 4 Eastern is 9. Yeah, you're right. Because it's only a 5-hour difference.
Yeah, and then California and that area is 8 hours. It's a long time. But I just think, regardless of what's like said and done now, this thing's gonna bloody squeak. Like, obviously, I see a lot of people saying different prices, and that that stuff gets me hyped, because like hitting 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, it just seems nuts, like crazy. And then that's just kind of like the wait and see kind of game. But still, regardless, it's exciting. I just think everyone needs to remember to hold, remember to buy, chill out, not worry. That's the most important thing, just not to worry, not to panic.
Everybody's buying and holding.
Yeah,
Nobody's selling.
Like, as much as we go on about buy and hold, I think that the more people buy, the more amount of people are into it now.
Okay, the Bloomberg terminal showed 98% buyers and holders to 2% sellers. So
exactly. I mean, the UK noise. I'm not really hearing a lot of UK noise, and yet,
not over here.
Obviously in America it's massive, and I just wish we could have got it a bit bigger in the UK, because there's people there that would be interested. It's just we don't have the media covering it and stuff like that, like, albeit negative in America, but it's still raising awareness. People are still hearing about it.
That sounds like the next place we could fly a banner.
Like it's
There you go. I was
There you
wondering if
go.
it's because there aren't AMC theaters in Canada or the UK. If maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, I mean, we have Odeon,
It was
which is
even-
part of.
Yeah.
What is it?
We have Odeon, which is part of the AMC group, I believe.
We got AMC owns Odeon, I believe.
We also have Cineplex Odeon in Canada.
Right.
And AMC owns.
Go ahead, Ted.
I believe
Very
so,
good.
yeah.
No, I was just looking at. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet, but the opening remarks against Gensler tomorrow, and it just sounds like he's the guy's on a mission, man. Like, you know, I think when he's talking about the order flow and the ability for people to like purchase that, at the end of that section, he's like, interestingly enough, they don't do that in the UK or Canada. So like, why are we doing it, right? And
That's very interesting.
yeah, man. And then he goes on to talk about, like the shorting and whatnot, and brings up Archegos, and it just sounds like he's. The only way I could say it, if I was doing some shady stuff, I'd be a little nervous. Right? So between that going on tomorrow and earnings, I mean, I've learned over the last 3 months not to get my expectations up. But I think after the red days that we've had, we might get a little feel good tomorrow.
Yeah, we had a whole red week.
I think so too.
No coincidence.
I mean, everything's just been red for like a whole week.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, man, and this is the beauty of what's going on here with all this stuff. Is like last night we were doing this. I think it was I think we were on here, or I don't know where we were. That's the beauty. We're so linked up now and have so much information that the red days don't even faze me, right? It's just like, bye.
Because you got people to reassure, and that's the difference. In 2008, it was very difficult to get hold of people, whereas now we've got all these social media platforms to get in touch with each other, and information can get spread really quickly, and the more people know about it, the better. Whereas, for example, 2008, that was a lot more difficult because we didn't have the technology we had back
2008, shoot, in February, I was getting so by all the bots coming on to Webull saying, sell your stock, sell AMC, it's over, the squeeze happened. I was so scared. I was like, wait, did I actually, like, did I miss it? Because I could have cashed out and I didn't. Ready to cry. I mean, I remember like getting up at 6 a.m. in the fetal position on the couch, just watching my phone as it's going down to $5. It was insane. Yeah, I don't know. I think now that we've kind of created this community of people too, it's gotten way easier to deal with all of it for sure. But just the bots on Monday, now we can just laugh at them. But at first, I was freaked out. I mean, I found Trey, that helped, and now I have all of you guys, and I feel like, yeah, we're not going anywhere. So I'm planning on going over to that Discord and just talk AMC in the squeeze as soon as I get the link for that, if anyone wants to come over there with me. And we'll just have our own AMC discussion.
Tara's gonna go.
Tara, real quick, if I may, I would like to share my story and how I got into this, because I actually experienced the first squeeze firsthand. I mean, I got into AMC the first time when I actually was watching the CEO Adam Aaron going out on the news and saying, look, There's nobody that wants to lend us
It is
money.
strange. Like here in the UK, we get like
And all I need
no
was
media
$500
coverage,
million to get
positive or
myself
negative,
in.
regarding AMC, or even I don't think even GameStop. And you could argue GameStop, when it actually did hit that like 400, 500, or whatever mark it was, that was like real.
No,
Like,
there was news on it, but it wasn't obviously as big as the American. I mean, I don't know why in the UK we seem to not invest. It just doesn't seem to be part of our culture. Like, I mean, I go to work and you say to people, and they're like, "Oh, it's too risky," but I couldn't play my life too safe. It's just maybe
guys,
I'm young, but
respectfully,
I couldn't do it. Just like
respectfully,
I mean,
Yeah, Fernando.
please,
one
yeah, let
little-
him finish.
yeah, sorry.
You're good.
That's fine. But anyways, like as I was saying, the whole thing was, I was listening to Adam Aaron, and I was like, wait a minute, this guy, he's real. Like, he's actually reaching out to retail, because nobody wanted to work with him. No institution, no bank, nobody. Everybody was betting against him, and he just went out and took a leap of faith and said, hey, if I don't get $500 million, which is all I need, we're gonna go bankrupt. We're gonna file for bankruptcy. Like that. And I was looking at the chart at the time being, AMC was trading around $2 something. I don't remember exactly, but it was around that price range. And I told my buddy, and said, let's throw like money into this thing. Let's just throw whatever. Let's throw $600, and we did. And we held on to that, and that thing blew up, and it went to $5. My friend was telling me, don't sell. Don't sell. It went to $5, and it was like, what? It's because it started squeezing, right? And then it went from $5 to $10, and my friend kept telling me, should I sell? Should I sell? I'm like, no, don't sell. It went to, and I remember
Diamond Head
at pre-market, $20 or $24 AMC. I mean, imagine how I felt, and my buddy was on the phone calling me, like, what should we do? I'm like, oh my God, it's pre-market. I can't, because I'm the kind of person, I don't like selling anything at pre-market. I want to see what's going to do in the market. And it started dipping, and I was like, no, I don't want to sell this thing. And then the next day, I went on Twitter, and I was trying to see people saying, oh, look, people can't even sell their shares. They can't even buy shares right now of GameStop. They were regulating everything. I was like, oh my God, this thing is going to crash.
Awful that they did that.
Like, I still have nightmares of that, because you couldn't buy anything. You couldn't even buy Sundial. You could
We do need to have a serious talk.
They caught all of them naked, every single one of them, and I was like, wow. But that's how you know we actually made them bleed. At that point, I mean, I was born again. Let's put it that way.
No, man, you got some diamond hands. That's great. I love it. You didn't even know.
Oh man, I didn't sell at 20. I mean, bro, I'm like, wow. And then I just, you know,
how crazy.
you know, I will tell you this, bro. I kind of feel bad, because I did sell when it dropped to like $8, because look, my friend was like, he needed money to, like, you know, get himself ahead and stuff, but we bought it back and bought more shares, and then hang on to that, and just, you know, just been averaging up, averaging down, and just, you know, it's just been a wild ride, man. It's just, and I'm so happy that we're all in this together, and it's just beautiful to see, man. Trey, the whole community, Kong, yourself too, man. You've been very outspoken, and everybody out here, man. Tara, I mean, this is awesome. I'm very happy to be here, you guys, and we're gonna take this to the moon. I mean,
That's right.
we're gonna take this to the moon. We own this
Hi, Pearson. Twitter really likes to shut this down. Unfortunately.
Which is out. It's fucking annoying.
Yeah, I don't know why. Right?
Send me
We
like
weren't.
It's probably the influx of the amount of people that are in here.
No, it's not, because I watched the Doge one with 10,000 people in it last night, and there was never an issue. Not one time.
Crazy.
Oh, all right.
And I watched for an hour, over an hour.
Damn, Tara, mate, you've obviously got some fucking following. They're obviously on your backs now. It's either you trade trades with Kong, and especially to see you all in the group chat. They ain't liking that.
Right.
I blame Kong.
I did have a question. This new 800 or the NSCC that's been passed, the 800. Do you reckon it'll be like enlisted? Obviously, it's a law, but like, who's going to enlist it?
Like, are you asking who's gonna enforce it?
Yeah, like the SAC is just literally this blatant market manipulation. They're just like, yeah, you know.
I would imagine the DTCC would do that. Is what I would imagine.
Do you really think Graham will stick to, you know, actually changing the SEC? I mean, obviously,
basically, what's it called? On the 22nd, remember there was that one SEC filing that went through, and there was a bunch of sell-offs, right, from those companies. So
yeah.
I think they actually are starting to listen and enforce the rules that they pass.
I only think they're doing this is because they're trying to save their backs currently. There's no other way or explanation. Like, I just don't get how this isn't in the public. But then again, the media don't want to cover it, I guess.
Right. That's understandable. I'm still trying to look into this.
I think that tomorrow is going to be another. It's going to be another full day of shorting. They're going to attack it tomorrow. Tomorrow's probably going to be one of the last days you can pick it up cheap, though. I think personally. After tomorrow, it's hard to tell what'll happen, but I think tomorrow is probably going to be one of the last days you can load up, like as far as cheap shares.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to take quite a while. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, unless someone has this, you know, the data on them now, what the money they're losing each day just in interest. I mean, I'm a bit confused on the interest being so low. I mean, I'm regarding to Fintel. I mean, I could be, you know, looking at, you know, it could be out-of-date numbers, but it just doesn't seem, you know, at the minute that, I mean, Ken Griffin is willing to lose millions a day. He doesn't give a shit. It's his money, you know. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I just want to ask. Am I allowed to swear? I mean, I don't want to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they can't cover at this point. They're just fighting for the next day. If they pay up, they lose. If they keep shorting, they lose. But if they keep shorting, at least they live to fight another day. That's what they're doing right now.
Hey,
crazy.
Hey, can I intervene for just 1 second? Is there anyone near a laptop or indoor computer? I'm not at home in my office right now. But if you do,
dude, I'm literally always at my laptop. I'm in my bed right now.
Perfect.
And what's the ask? Go ahead.
Surveyor Capital, Citadel's top, basically financial advisor, the head of Surveyor Capital, Citadel's top market picker for their investments, stepped down today.
Yeah, I confirmed that earlier.
So I'm trying to figure out why he stepped down. It's Bloomberg called it retirement, but he's only been in the company for 16 years at the age of 40. That's an early retirement. Doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to figure out why he stepped down. I can't do any research right now until I get to my office.
So basically, normally when someone's in that company for that long of a period of time, that's what they refer to it as retiring from that company. But him retiring at this time, I mean, it says a lot.
He doesn't want to go to jail.
He doesn't want to get caught up in all this.
It just makes no sense because if he's Citadel's quote-unquote top financial advisor, or he picks their top stocks, I'm pretty sure he picks their top shorts as well. So I don't know. I need.
He probably just doesn't want to be tied to it.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, how about the fact that yesterday almost everything was in the red and they all plummeted around the same time? And anyone that says that it was because of Janet Yellen, I literally looked into it, and the person that made that Reddit post, the one that I posted, it was 1 hour after it was 1 hour after the previous one. So it was the same time that Janet Yellen spoke. But I looked into it further, and the first one that he posted, which was 2 Wall Street Bets, was an hour prior to Janet Yellen's speech.
So what,
And that was it showing all of the different stocks that were in the red and just fucking plummeting. Yes, exactly. It's like a straight line down.
Yeah. I agree with you. With all these synthetic shows
down a
out
rabbit
there,
hole.
it's just ridiculous.
We are so minuscule compared to what's actually happening.
Basically,
Yeah, I honestly
every
think
high
that the
short
guy,
stock is going to squeeze.
he got out of it because he just, the pressure got to him, man. I mean, how long can you live a lie to where you can just see the fucking ship sinking, you know what I'm saying? And then just, you keep going down and down and down, and then the guy was just like, you know what, I'm fucking out, man. I think that's why he retired. He probably hasn't slept in weeks.
But you can't. And you can't. How many articles have you found on it? Because I've only found one, and it's from Bloomberg, and it's insanely positive because Citadel's in their pockets. I can't find it anywhere, and this is. I mean, that's big news. Like, that's huge. I don't see why it's not circulating right now. But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just some dumb ape. It's. I don't even want to answer that because that's just so much speculation, and I try my best not to speculate. But I don't know. Things just don't make sense right now. But
hey, Ahmad, quick question. So you've been looking on like Google, Microsoft, Bing, whatever, right? Does anyone here, this is for anyone, know of any like foreign web browser that you could use to try to look for it? That's not Google, not Microsoft Bing, not Yahoo.
Why don't you use DuckDuckGo to begin with? I'm not even kidding. It's probably the best that you could really get.
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, DuckDuckGo's good. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna use that.
If you're ever at work, because I'm in the military. If you get to a place that blocks a certain website, like YouTube, for example, if you go to DuckDuckGo, you can bypass a lot of shit.
Okay, yeah, that's
if you search it through DuckDuckGo, yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
it.
So if they ever block you for bandwidth or whatever, like at work for YouTube, which is what they do a lot for us, just go to DuckDuckGo and you can bypass it.
Yeah.
I work for the government. That's good to know.
Yeah, and I'm just a fuckboy.
Me too, Kong. Me
We
too.
know that, Kong. We already know. Yeah, no one's judging. Especially not me.
We love you, though.
I haven't been on Reddit, but I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing. I looked. Anybody saw the price section on GameStop today? How it spiked and got whacked right down. I mean, if that's not an obvious, if that doesn't look like market manipulation to anybody, I don't know what else is. Because I mean, and then it tried to do it again into the close today, but I guess it sold off the market. But I mean, man, GameStop is just. That's all I think about. Man.
I think a lot of us are researching different things.
Everybody's doing DD right now. Everybody's doing that due diligence. That's why I can hear the typing. That's what it is. That's what
totally
it is.
Trying out the DuckDuckGo.
I'm not gonna lie. Man.
Yeah, and if anyone has any kind of questions, feel free to ask them.
Hey, so I found another article about that guy from Citadel.
Okay, hit me with it. That's
It's on the website that it's on is pionline.com, like PI. It's just pionline.com.
Yeah, I see that too.
Under pensions and investments, but it says that even after he retires, it says he will continue as a special advisor to the firm, is what Kenneth Griffin himself said. So, like, he's retiring, but he's not.
So is he getting paid under the table? How's that going to work? I don't see how you can.
Is it like he's retiring, but he has a say in things still?
Yeah, like he's just going to be a phone. He's just going to be a phone call away.
Like all the YouTubers, I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what you should do, Kenny. Is that what it is? That makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, he said, like, Ken Griffin actually, like, his statement was, he said he's grateful for Todd's meaningful contributions over the past 16 years as he built his career at the firm. He said Phil is well positioned to build on Surveyor's long history of success and develop the next generation of portfolio managers.
Portfolio managers. Wow.
Well, I just want to say, guys, I'm going to dip in a minute. Well, now, because it's almost 2 a.m. here. So I'm going to go in a minute, and then you guys can carry on doing all your great work. So I'm just going to say, carry on doing your work. It's appreciated by a lot of us. Everyone doing all your DD and all the work you do is appreciated. So yeah, I'm going to head off now because I've got work.
Good night, James.
See you, man.
Cheers, James. Good night, James.
Good night. Take care of yourselves, guys.
Diamond hands, bro.
Diamond hands, man. Lots of love. See you later, guys. See you later, guys.
Night.
Night. Good night.
Hey, James. Is that link? Is there an article or an interview tied to that, or is it just a statement? Like, did Kenny G go? Did he come out publicly and say it, or is it a statement and then they released the statement via quote?
Yeah, it's a statement via quote.
Okay, I'm trying to find an interview about this information. I can't find anything about Kenny G in the news, like where he's actually come out and publicly spoken within the last.
Oh my God. That'd be the day when he publicly shows his portfolio and his short positions. Oh my God, that would be a sight for sore eyes.
God, that's
so.
And all the negatives and all the money he has lost and all the interest that he's paid and all, oh my God.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
The plane is paid for, bought and paid for, and it's ready to go. He's sending me the flight plans today, so I will be there to videotape it on May 7th.
May the 7th.
And that's going to be in LA, right? That's
Yes,
in
ma'am.
LA.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyone in the LA area, if you guys can just pass it on.
Oh,
I've tweeted about it.
I will. It's from 2 to 6. Sorry.
Awesome. 2 to 6 Pacific time, I'm guessing.
They will be at the beach around 4 o'clock. I'll get the exact locations. They're going to go around a heavy traffic area down the freeway and stuff like that, and then hit the beach, the main busy beach. And he's going to give me all the touch points and everything, and I'll let everybody know for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for organizing that. That's amazing. And I'm still so stoked that the guy that's going to fly the plane bought or is buying 3,000 shares. That is so wild.
That's so insane.
That's so awesome.
That's like something you'd see in a movie. You can't make this stuff up.
Maybe it will.
Right?
Yeah, great job, Kat.
3,000 lottery tickets.
I'm also just going to remind everyone, I'm trying to rotate people in. So there are 6 people waiting to come back in and speak. So
yeah, I
you
can
guys
drop
can
off.
help me because I'm cooking at the same time. So it's hard to keep track of who's talking and
I can
all that.
I can drop off as well.
Just if you could rotate yourselves and then re-request if you want to come back in, and that way I can just keep adding. Thank you guys. Approved. Oh, there's one more.
Sorry.
Hi, folks. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey,
real quick. I heard you guys requested a plane. I caught wind of a guy earlier that was taking credit for the first plane, AMC plane that was the banner that was flown. Yeah, he was taking credit for it. Got called out twice, and that fucker was asking for Cash App donations. Just a heads up.
Oh no, that's the scary thing about doing this kind of stuff is then you have scammers.
Hey, when an executive leaves a firm and he's still on board, he's just an independent consultant who's getting paid by them. So when shit hits the fan, it will not stick to him.
It won't come back on him. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's right. So they're paying him as a
Protect his tail.
consultant.
Yeah, they're protecting him.
Yep.
Hey, folks. How are you? Hey, one of the things that I think we should spread is the fact that Adam Aaron came out today, and I'm sure everybody, all of us here know, that little hint of over 3 million shareholders. So I've been with I've been a shareholder of AMC since, 2016, I want to say, and AMC's been under short attack since at least 2018, and I looked at some videos, I think it was a CNBC interview that Adam had back in late 2018, that they had great earnings, yet the price came down, and he flat out said that the stock's being manipulated and it's being shorted. So I think we should really spread that and take this to the chat rooms, because if that is true, and really AMC has been getting shorted since 2018, which I truly do believe it has been, given the fact that there's about 400 million shares issued as investors, retail investors, we have access to 400 million, correct? I think there should be probably around 1.5 to 2.5 billion in synthetic shares out there, and I think that's worth. And Kong would be the great person to do a little DD on that. He always comes up with great DD.
You didn't.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, that's something that I think we should spread and let everybody know what Adam did say today.
And we were talking about earnings.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said about DD. I was reading something that was. I'll mention it in a sec, but go ahead. What'd you say?
No, I was saying that if AMC has truly been getting shorted since 2018, and the hedge funds have been betting that AMC is going to go bankrupt, and they really doubled down ever since the pandemic. So my thoughts are that and again, I'm guessing there should be at least 1.5 billion or more in synthetic shares out there. Because when you consider Adam saying that there is over 3 million shareholders and there's only 400 million shares, I think they are in deep shit, and I think we should really drive this point home to everybody else on different threads and different groups on online, so everybody's aware.
Right.
Hey, Kong, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Is it possible that it went from 27 to 15 because they started pulling synthetic shares off the market?
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm looking at a Bloomberg terminal of today's breakdown of volume, and at the top it reads that we had 15.8 million in daily volume, but when I go to the breakdown, it's still showing that we're still well within the 25-26 mil range, with 11.2 coming from FINRA's ADF in particular, which only has 2 participants, one of them being Jane Street, one of the biggest people in the game. So I am trying to figure out how it's possible that we're seeing so much volume in this breakdown, but it's not being reflected in the overall volume, whether it be synthetics, dark pool trading. I don't fucking know. I've never seen this before. But I'm working on it.
One additional question here from my side, Kong, is, and we discussed this in Germany as well. I'm running the biggest YouTube channel for German AMC apes, and we discussed this in a chat today. Is it nothing that must be reflect directly in the price as well? So if they reduce the volume and the synthetic shares, there is a price behind that. So that means that the price needs to be reflected as well, or not?
I mean, I would imagine, because a synthetic share in itself, it's not like it could just disappear. Even if we found it, it's not like they could just be like, oh, that's bad, and just fucking toss it. As many others have said, it's very likely that most of us are holding synthetic shares in the sense that this has probably been oversold for a while, or overbought rather. So that being said, when it does come time that they have to be I guess removed from the float, it would just be straight buys. It'd be like buying a share, then it's just removed off the market. So it's only going one way. It will cease to exist, and it'll just result in straight buying pressure.
But Kong, is there a way that they could do this trade off hours amongst themselves, the hedge funds? Let's say on after hour or pre-market?
Of course.
They're what's it called? So right here, it says in connection, and this is from the CTA, the Consolidated Tape Association. It says, in connection with the restart of CTS/CQS from 11:32 a.m., CTS open high non-listing market last sale and volume data may not include transactions that occurred prior to the restart. So I guess there was a restart, is what it's saying, is what someone's saying, due to a software issue at 04:14 a.m., but the times don't match up. This is what someone just sent me.
Okay, is it like an article or AMC and GM?
I'll send it to you.
Is it just for AMC and GME? So this is the only thing that I heard, or is it reflect on the whole market?
Actually,
I looked at various blue chip stocks, and I didn't see it among any of them that I looked at. So I was under the impression that it was just the meme stocks. Essentially, what would be extremely shorted, but
for the ones that didn't move at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I looked into it, and there's pretty much a bunch of the ones that are invested, or Citadel or the Jane Street, all of them that are invested in. A bunch of those didn't move. Like, let me look. It's in that video that I made. All those. Google.
Can you send me that article though?
So.
Yeah, someone sent me a picture, but I can find it.
I hate when people do that.
Yeah.
I hate it too. I yell at them in Discord and say, put the link, not a screenshot, please. Because we all want to do our own DD. We all want to check.
Yeah, or they'll just send you a screenshot of a Reddit comment. Like, what do you want me to do with this?
Right. We need links, people. I mean, a screenshot and a link is like golden. I love that.
It's pretty much on ctaplan.com. So I'm looking for it right now.
I think his point about the possibility that there are like over 1 billion synthetic shares is wild. I mean, if anyone could figure it out, I mean, I don't know how they even could, because is there record of how many shares
There is no
we
record.
each own?
Hey, real quick.
There's no record of how many shares we each individually own as retail investors.
There's no metric that would track that. That'd be like an overpowered metric. Like on a Bloomberg terminal, you see how many retail investors own what, especially since how often it moves. I don't believe such a figure exists. There's always
Seems
estimates.
like it's so easy to figure that out, but yeah, I guess.
So
I mean, not easy to figure out, but
that out.
easy to track is what I mean. Sorry, go ahead.
I was trying to figure that out because I was asking some questions to some people. AMC knows how many shares that they let out when they IPO'd, and how many shares they've added to, right? Those two shares should equal the total amount of shares that are out in the market. So if they IPO with 400 million, and then they add another 450 million, there should only be 850 million shares available to trade. And if we're exceeding that, the ones exceeding the 850 are all synthetic.
Hey, sorry to bust in here, but I'm listening. Was there a guy who said he's the biggest YouTuber in Germany? About
what the fuck?
Yeah, the rockin' roller.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. I got a quick.
Jens is my name.
Jens, I got a quick question for you. There was two guys from Germany this morning, and the one guy said it took him like half hour to get his order filled. Like, orders aren't getting filled. Do you hear anything about that on the German market?
Orders didn't get filled. No. Anything?
Yeah.
No. What?
He said it took 30 minutes this morning for his order to get filled.
For like a 50 share order to get filled. And then the other guy was talking about, it sounded like he was.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. The thing is here, so in Germany so after we have the counting, at first, apologize for my bad English, because I'm in German, I try. So, if Adam has asked for the counting of the share, there's no access.
Did we lose him?
I think he cut out.
Yeah.
Hey.
Are you there?
Can you hear me, guy?
Yes.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. So what happened here is, so after the counting, our brokers sent our shares to oversee to another place to count the shares in real time, or the real shares. So that means that we have no access to our shares for 2 or 3 days after we get them back in our depot. So they say that it's a normal process if the emittent, so in this case AMC, asking to send them our shares for counting. So this is the reason that some people here in Germany, not everyone, but a lot of us, didn't have access to our shares and change the limits. So if we try this, we can do this, but they say, okay, no, you need to pay 10 euro in closely. Of course, they are not in our depot. They are transferred overseas to USA. So that's what the broker customer service told us.
Wow.
Hey Kong, I I sent it to you, or rather I tagged you in my tweet.
Just DM it to
So
him.
what you need to know, we in Germany, we have different laws about shorting and something else like that. It's not allowed in Germany that you lean in stock that you don't own. That it's not possible in Europe as well. So we have there after 2008, I guess, they changed the law behind that, but not in the USA. But this means for us, I guess, but this is not. This is just speculation. I guess that the German apes holding real shares. Of course, our brokers need to take care that they have the real shares if they want to lend them or lean them. So, and a lot of people from us had the problem if we want to change our selling limits, that we are not able to do this. Of course, we didn't have access to our shares for 2 or 3 days closely.
So it's run how it should, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that as well. I've heard rumors of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ape Andy over on the GME side. He did say, he posted a video a couple of hours ago stating that as well. And in Taipei, they're not able to fulfill orders. And what I mean by that, he explained it as big block orders. You could still buy, a couple, low number shares, but as far as big blocks, they're having a hard time fulfilling them over in Europe and on that side of the world.
Yeah, we have never heard that we can't buy any shares. That's not good happen. So for example, I have a Telegram group with closely 800 apes there, and we have a voice chat every day with closely 200 apes there. And today we made what is the name? So we asking what is the average number of shares that you own, and the number is closely above 1,000. So, and we have in total we sent this about all the German AMC Telegram things, and you can get one count, and there with 2,000 votings. So so you get an indication about what is the average share that we own of 1,000. It's similar to the numbers that Matt Kors shares on Twitter as well. So that indicates if we reduce it on the 50% minimum, so and we reduce it as well 50% from then, so we have minimum 250 or 300 shares per ape, so that we can be really sure that we have a lot of more shares than are available on the free float. So
yeah, no. What I was saying was that, from what I understood, is that big blocks of shares are they're not able to be fulfilled anymore due to the lack of them being traded with these big institutions. You know what I mean? As far as
okay, yeah, sure. Of course they blocked them.
Exactly.
Of course they blocked them. Yeah, correct. That's the reason. So that from German or from Europe as well, I think that's the thing that our shares are sending over to the sea, and then they count them and say, okay, these are the numbers, and then we get them back so that we can do our voting.
Exactly.
So, and correct. And during this time period, this 2 or 3 days, then these shares are blocked. Yeah, correct.
Right. So the sentiment overall is that slowly but surely that they're being squeezed to the point where they're running out of shit to do, or shit to, like, tricks to pull, basically. But as far as big blocks, like really big blocks of shares being traded, they're starting to. It's, as far as I've heard from Taipei, they're starting to restrict them. They're not available, like they were before.
Yeah, correct. I have one thing that I don't understand, and maybe one guy can help me. If after Adam have told, okay, we want the counting of the shares, and with this counting of the shares, we know, or we see here in Germany, okay, they get our real shares and they want to see them. But if this happens around the world, and especially for the shorted shares as well, so that must be indicate that we should have a really heavy buying pressure in the last days, but we didn't have seen it, and I don't get why. You get my
Because
point?
they've manipulated the market so bad that it's suppressing the buying power.
Right.
I just wanted to chime in and say that Javon, he's in this chat right now. He's done some killer DD on the synthetics. He's estimated it to be between 140 and 170% on the safe side of percentage owned. Also, if you take what Ape Aaron said earlier, of at least 3 million shareholders owning shares, if you take an estimate of about 500 shares per shareholder, that puts it at 1.5 billion right there. I honestly think it's more than that. That's on the safe side, is 1.5 billion shares out there. But
I agree.
it's easily above 2 billion. It could be more than that.
That's what I was thinking, because if you look at all these shares and all these different chains of how they transfer these shares, I personally own 8,000 shares personally, and I've been at it since the end of January. They've multiplied this time after time after time after time, so they're just buying time. Once all of this stuff comes out, I think it'll be above 3 billion. Honestly,
I agree.
I agree totally.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Let us think about this, please. Of course, we in Germany, we can't manage our shares, and we can't handle it, of course, during this time. After Adam had say, okay, we want to count this, and we sent them over. So this means that everyone who is in the books in the DTCC or everywhere, anywhere, I don't know, needs to send them to AMC so that they can count them. So that and finally, okay, we have, let me say, 1.5 billion shares out there, totally. But during this time, normally the hedge funds can't send them the synthetic shares. So that means, like, if you go to the bank and say, okay, I send you my wrong paper money, my false paper money. So that indicates for me that they normally should seen a big buying pressure from the shares to, let me say, hide this. Maybe that's understandable what I mean.
It is from what I understood. This is what I understood, and correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as any buying pressure, so what I understood was that all of the buying that we're doing, whether the price dips or not, we are obviously buying, let's say, quote unquote, synthetic shares, and we are actually, without even meaning to, we're supporting Citadel in a way, because they're the ones that are handling all the transactions. And then what happens then is that all the buying pressure is then traded through the dark pools, right? And all of the selling pressure that they're doing is actually handled through the stock market itself. So our buying pressure doesn't even it doesn't even show on the market as it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, but the volume if you look on Market Chameleon, and where you can see the volume on the dark pool, and there is the volume goes down as well. They went down from 55% to 44% in average on the last days. So normally, in my world, in my understanding, that should be reflected the opposite of this. True. So this is a point that I don't get. I have the same idea like you, but we can't figure it out.
Yeah, there's obviously some greater thing at play here, but that is another thing that I don't think a lot of people realize, is that we're actually, by us buying on these dips, we're actually supporting Citadel in a way, because they're the ones that are grabbing the money. Then they go around and turn their bullshit shares, whether it be GME, AMC, or whatever stock they're shorting, they turn around and they package it all into bonds, and then they sell it to the bank, and that's how they're laundering the money. And then that's how they're able to keep up with everything that they're doing. As far as the hiding the share, as far as the hiding the volume and all that through the stock market, that is where I believe that's where we're stuck. Correct? We don't know how they're doing it.
One of the things that I hear a lot of us talk about is holding our shares in a CMA cash account as opposed to a margin account. I know Robinhood has an option. I don't use Robinhood, but you could have your shares in a margin account, but choose for them not to lend it out. But Merrill Edge, for instance, doesn't have that. I own a lot of shares, and I moved them from my margin account into I opened up a CMA cash account, and the representative, believe me when I tell you, she tried to convince me not to put it into the CMA cash account. I was a little blown away. She kept trying to say that it's going to reduce my margin buying power, and I explained to her, I said, look, I'm not going to sell AMC. I don't care to buy stocks on margin, but I hear that a lot, and I like to ask Kong if this is true, that it is best for us shareholders to transfer our shares into a CMA cash account, so the brokerages are not able to lend them out. Is there some truth to that, or does it matter, or it doesn't matter whether we hold them in a margin account or a cash account? Thanks.
Is Kong still here?
Oh yeah, I'm eating. What was the question?
Sorry, Kong. Okay. The question was, is there any truth to holding our shares in a CMA cash account as opposed to a margin account? Never mind Robinhood, but my brokerage is Merrill Edge, and I don't have that option. I didn't have it in my margin account, and I own close to 30,000 shares.
Right.
And I did not want to. I didn't want them to be lended out. So I heard that it's best to move them into a CMA cash account. Is that true? So they're not able to lend it out, the brokers?
Maybe Rock, you can say something because he shows a sign.
Yeah, so basically what I'm about to make another video, but what I'm showing is, I'm going to go over some of these real quick. So normally when you're looking at Webull or any brokerage, it shows your after hours until what's the time, like 8 p.m., right? For Eastern. Okay, for some of them,
It's
AMC,
9:15.
Google, right? Google, AMC, those two, they were fine. They went up to the time. That's what it showed. For VGT, Vanguard Information, whatever the hell it's called, it stopped at 1600 and stopped showing data the entire time after that. And then it gets interesting, right? IWF, all of these different companies that I'm going through, or the funds, they are invested by the hedge funds, right? So Vanguard Value ETF stopped at 1600. VUG Vanguard Growth ETF stopped at 1600.
Rogue, I'm sorry. I unplugged my mic by accident. I'm a mess right now. But to the other guy's question, and it's a standard industry practice. If you have a margin account that they can loan out your shares, it's kind of how they make profit. So unless it's explicitly stated that you have an option to shut it off, then more than likely you are playing fucking hot potato with shares. So yes, to answer your question, a cash account would prevent that. And to add on to that, it's also standard that if your broker gets margin called, they can liquidate your margined assets. So in general, I think it's safer to have a cash account, but it depends on how much you trust your broker. So.
I agree, and I think we should drive this point home to everybody. I mean, if all of us can collectively, when we tweet or we're in contact with others, I think we should drive this point home, telling everybody to move their shares into a CMA cash account if it's possible. It's free for everybody who's listening. It only takes 5 minutes to open up a additional cash account if you only have a margin account. And it's best to call your broker and have those shares moved into a cash account. Essentially, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kong, you remove those shares out of the float. And if we do this collectively, I think it sort of cranks up the pressure on them, so
Right.
they can't lend those shares out.
So it doesn't remove them from the float per se, but it raises the raises the utilization. But to your point, I have always been reluctant to talk about that side of things because it's borderline FUD. That if you are on a margin account, you will not be on the rocket when this moons, or you risk liquidation, or you need to transfer or convert to a cash account. I do know some people did get liquidated back in January. I think Trey was one of them because he had a margin account with even Fidelity. So in general, I do recommend I might be wrong on why he got liquidated, but I think in general it's best to have a cash account. But it's really hard to communicate without people having a knee-jerk reaction. So.
But for example,
hey guys, can you hear me?
Sorry if I'm interrupting, but Ameritrade doesn't let us buy with margin AMC, but it does let us buy with margin other securities. I have a margin account, and today I wanted to buy more shares. I used all my cash, and it didn't let me on AMC, but on other accounts, securities it did. So I called TD Ameritrade, and they told me they don't accept margin on AMC whatsoever. So I don't think what you stated previously would be the case with Ameritrade, but I'm not sure.
You're right. You cannot trade on margin with AMC, GameStop, several. So that's different though. So you can have a margin account and not use your margin.
It has different interpretations.
They can also lend out your shares.
Go ahead.
If you don't have the lending program turned off. But I also would say, guys, I don't really trust that one, I wouldn't worry so much about this because if you own the shares and you're not we can't trade on margin anyway, to my knowledge. The best thing you can do is turn off lending. I wouldn't overthink this. You can't trade on margin with AMC right now. And I actually can trade on margin in my account, and I do from time to time on other stocks because there's advantages to that. So I think this is not as big a deal as people have made it.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Well, I think it's more within the paperwork of brokers such as Robinhood saying that if you do have a margin account, you can essentially lose the lottery, in which case get liquidated if they do need to come up with funds for whatever security is getting called. But I noticed with my Robinhood account, even though I hadn't used it, if you have options trading on Robinhood, if you have instant buying power above like 1K or something, then technically you're buying on margin all the time. So even though I thought I had a cash account, it turned out that I didn't. So that was kind of a wake up call for me to go ahead and cut ties with Robinhood altogether, which to my next point, people always ask if they should leave Robinhood. In my opinion, I always felt that if you already owned shares with Robinhood, damage is kind of already done. What they did back in January was stop the ability to buy, but that would affect all platforms regardless, whether you are there or not. They never restricted selling. So when people typically ask if they should leave Robinhood because they're unsure and they don't want to miss the squeeze and they don't want to be in that, I guess, purgatory period between, it doesn't make much sense to me to risk it. But I could be missing something there.
Last week before I moved my shares from the margin account to the cash account, shares of AMC, and about $8,000 of that was pulled from the margin. So when I called them and I told them I want to transfer, initially she told me that I'm unable to do so. because I'm using the margin. So basically, I have to pay that $8,000 or sell shares equivalent to $8,000. So I was lucky enough to have the money in my savings, so I transferred the money right away while I was on the phone with her. And so the following day, I transferred all my shares from the margin account. But to answer, I believe the other gentleman's name is Stick to Stocks. With Merrill Edge, I was able to buy shares using the margin when I bought that last 3,000 shares. Now it's a non-issue because I transferred everything into a cash account. But the sheer fact that the lady was really trying to sway me from transferring it into the cash account tells me that all of us should, but I may be wrong.
Yeah, cash account's best. Most brokerages won't let you trade on margin with AMC anyway, like I said, but in making sure your lending's turned off. But I mean, listen, can we really trust these guys anyway?
Yeah, that's so true.
And
I was just about to
that's
say
the
that.
unfortunate thing. The good thing is we have a lot of momentum in our favor right now. We need to continue to push that as they're paying attention to this movement. The SEC is paying attention. Will everything fall into place for us? I don't know. We don't know, but there's a lot of things happening. We know we're not going anywhere, and we've got to continue to push and learn and help each other. Like I said, I think the more I've read about it, like for instance, Robinhood, if they want to do the lottery thing and steal money from people again and liquidate accounts, that sucks. I hope they don't do it again like they did in January. We can't stop them from doing that, and I think the biggest thing is making sure that people understand just what margin is if you are trading on it, which is essentially like even if you have a margin account, if you have the cash in your account to cover the stock, in theory you should be fine. You own that stock. You have paid cash for all of your shares. But it's a complicated system.
Hey guys, I always feel like there's a lot of people that are smarter than me here. It's just something I kicked around yesterday, and I've been thinking about it today. Right, like talking about the margin and cash accounts. I actually, after hearing Trey talk about his Fidelity, I'm actually in Fidelity, and after hearing Trey talk about being squared up and not trading on margin but having a margin account getting liquidated, scared me, right? So my account was on margin, and I called them to take it off. That's how the phone call started. And by the end of the call, I ended up leaving it on because they pretty much told me there's a 0% chance that I would get liquidated if I'm not using any of the margin. So then that got me to thinking, and here's what, like, is this possible? Is this a thing, right? If I was to leave the margin on and a bunch of people were to leave the margin on, do you think it's possible that they could use that to use my share, right? Like, let's say I have an X number of shares and they lend them. I mean, is there a possibility of more synthetics being created, therefore making our floor higher at the end of the day? Does that make any sense? I don't know if I'm wording it right, but it makes sense to me.
I'm sorry, one more time.
So if I leave margin on, right, and if you want to use my shares to lend them out, you're more than welcome, right? Because at the end of the day, I feel like that adds some kind of fuel to the fire.
It gets tricky though because somebody just DM'd me. I'm sorry. It's difficult for us to see the broad picture. We don't know if the majority of retail is holding or if they're selling. So I think more people want this to happen sooner than later, because frankly we don't know how long most people are willing to stay in this. Now, we have a Twitter community where we're all basically intertwined and keeping each other motivated and informed. But when you think about the 3 million plus number that Adam gave out, I have not seen that kind of presence on Twitter. So it makes me, I guess, worrisome about what's beyond what we see. I want to have this happen while we have as much retail holding as possible. So I prefer it to happen sooner than later. But I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, that's a good point. And there's a lot of, I've said this a lot on Twitter. There's a lot of AMC holders that are not on Twitter at all. I know a lot of them that have a good chunk of shares, and they are pretty much clueless. Surprisingly, they bought because they see the potential, but they do not see what we see. They're not on Twitter every day. They're not doing, constant DD like us, which kind of amazes me. But to your point, how long are they going to hold? How long is everybody going to hold? The more short shares that are available to borrow it's not a great thing for us, because that just allows them to buy more time. And the only way, I mean, we all think they're not going to get out of this, but the only way in their mind, I mean, this is bankruptcy or they know they're probably going to go bankrupt. So Think about it from their point of view. A lot of people ask me all the time, why won't they stop? Why won't they stop? Why haven't they given up? If you're already going to go bankrupt, you're just going to go for broke, right?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. So the longer they can continue to find shares to short, they're just going to keep buying time. So we're with 100% utilization where we are. It's very important that we continue to push where we're at right now. Where the data is right now is the best that it's ever been. When I bought in January, number one, I had no fucking clue about short selling, and I had traded for a long time, no clue about short selling and all the things that we know now. I sort of bought the hype and then learned as I went. And I remember back in early February when we dipped to $5, Twitter went pretty quiet. I don't know who here was here during that time. I was very worried then. And guess what? The data was not good in February.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, if you look at all the charts, the shorted shares went down quite a bit. And actually, when most of us bought in January, there was only about 47 million shares shorted. It looked better because the float was smaller then.
Yeah.
They did a share offering in January that diluted the short interest percentage. Because when the float goes up. So right now, the data is literally as good as it's ever going to get. 100 and something million shares shorted is insane.
Yeah.
So we got to keep pushing.
To add on to that, it's like, go ahead.
If I might add some color to that, just a wild thought, since, given that the more shares outstandings, oh shoot.
You good?
You good?
I wanted to add something to what he was just talking about with having more shares for them to keep covering and keep postponing. It's also giving them more of a chance to formulate plan. I feel like they were definitely backing the silver thing that happened and then the rocket thing. And I feel like each time, and possibly this Doge situation, I don't know, it could be potentially helping them. So that's why that's why I turned off the lending program.
Let's see.
Good point.
The way I see it
I think they're pumping Doge big time.
They're pumping everything.
I don't know about that.
They're pumping everything. Look.
Hey, take the money. Make your money on
Yeah.
Doge.
Yeah, I'm not talking smack.
They're pumping.
I took 500 and put it on Doge and came out with 1,200 and put it back in AMC. Like,
this is way.
The thing about it is, for a person like me, I'm a computer engineer by trade. I knew nothing about stock market in January. I saw it on Reddit, joined, looked at it, checked it out. And what happened, I said, I'm gonna take this $125 and I'm gonna buy some stock on Cash App. I bought AMC and a couple others. And I got to 250 and I got scared and I sold because I was like, this shit can't be this easy. And the more and more I started to become a part of the community and see what we had going on and listen to all the DD that Kong would put out, that Stock and Stock would put out, Tara would put out, and I started saying, hold up, this is how my money works. And I think that's what this community is about. People are learning how their money moves and who's exactly moving it. So the momentum, I don't think will slow down anytime soon. But to that point, we also have to make sure that we let the new apes that join know what's FUD and what's not. Because they were like me. They put their 125 in, they got to a certain point, they got scared and jumped out because they thought the world was going to end. We have an opportunity to flip the way that the markets are run, and they're scared to death. They're willing to do anything. If you haven't been botted or send a message to sell yourself out or something like that, then you're not doing something right. We have a movement, guys, that has set something in motion that the politicians are scared, the hedge funds are scared, the bankers are scared. I mean, even talking about margin, I knew nothing about it. So if you're a new ape on here, you listen and you like, what the hell is margin? They gave me $10,000 on margin. And I was like, what the hell is that? And then I started to listen to you guys and understand what it was, and it still scared me. If I got cash, I'm using my cash and I'm sticking to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, just to chime in real quick about the margin thing, I just switched my I have
Those
all
are really
my
good points.
shares are bought with cash and TD Ameritrade, but I just switched the margin off, and they highly discouraged me to do it because you have the T plus 2 days after you sell a stock to where you can reinvest that money or whatever. But the reason why I did it is I saw some DD, some ape found that the DTC actually says in one of their rules, and correct me if I'm wrong, I saw it on a tweet, man. There's so much DD and so much information being pumped through all the time that they can liquidate any type of margin account at any time. And that's the reason why I made the switch.
Yeah,
If they get called.
But see, that's
what I heard, and that's why I switched.
That's the point.
Whether it's true or not, I'm not sure. So
That's the point. If you walk, I mean, the thing about us as a community is that we are everyday people. We're not some pampered hedge fund people that, you know, don't drive. They get somebody to come pick them up. We're everyday people. We know if we go to the grocery store to buy a bottle of ketchup, it costs $2.29, and that's that. So we think differently. So don't give me nothing on credit. I'll pay for it, but it's mine once I bought it. You can't touch it. You can't move it. You can't do anything. And as for me, you want to get these shares from me, you have to pay for them, just like everybody else.
You had it wrong when you
Does
said
anybody
that.
watch Jeremy on financial education?
One listening.
Phone breaking. What you say? Phone's breaking up. Can't hear you.
You there?
Oh, that's not me.
You there?
Tara, you there?
Does anybody watch Jeremy on financial education?
I have no idea what that is.
The last video was kind of in a way about our movement. If you look up Financial Education 2, it's a guy named Jeremy. Free video to watch. It's his last video. Just putting that out there.
Well, yeah, the good.
I'll take a look.
I like the name because my name's Jeremy, but you know, I'll check it out.
Yeah. I want to add to what something that they're waiting for is the opposite of what we are waiting for. They're waiting for their own catalyst to basically move us away from the stock. Once that happens, that's the only way they win. That's their only win condition in addition to bankruptcy. If neither of those are met, then they're done. So of course they're going to fight it as much as they can, even if they don't achieve either one of those catalysts. The lower they get it, I mean, that's millions, if not billions of dollars that they're saving themselves when and if they do have to cover.
And that's the funny part about it, because correct me right if I'm wrong, but if one blows, they all blow. They're fighting a war on 10 different fronts. And
that's the thing.
They're fighting a war on 10 different fronts. They've over leveraged themselves so much to the point to where if one blows, they all blow.